want to sound cheesy or anything like that, but that's the way. We're one cannabis, it's cannabis. It doesn't matter if it's in Canada, US, everyone's going to come online at different times. I had the privilege of being a beginning in Canada where I've seen the craziest stuff up and down. Every day is a crazy day, but you know, we just have a path and a vision and just keep moving forward, no matter how bad it is. When the tender came out last year, everyone freaked out, we're going to sue the government. I begged them, I go, please, don't sue the government, work with this crappy tender, get a program going, make the changes as we go. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people didn't listen. They sued the government, they canceled the tender, now you're back at square one. Hopefully they'll do a better job next time, but there's no guarantees. There's a chance they're going to do it even worse next time.
Now we've told you.
Yeah, listen, I wish you all the best, and I'll happy to support you any way I can, but I cheer for Germany. I hope. I want to see how I can support it. The lessons I've learned in Canada, I want to bring it to Germany, creating cannabis clinics and all the different things I did in Canada.
What's the status of the education?
Yeah, it's launched. We've had hundreds of people take it. Originally, it was for healthcare professionals and clinics, which have been opening up like crazy, and half the clinics in Canada have become just BS. Give me $300 for a prescription, and it's disgusting. But when we started it, we needed to do it because people would call me and say, oh, I need a prescription. I said, go to your doctor. Your doctor would say, oh, I'm not prescribing cannabis. In fact, if I find out you're using cannabis, I'm kicking you out of my practice. So I had to find doctors, open-minded, educate them, and then the business, and I'll tell you real quick, I don't want to take up more time, but doctors don't have time. They have 15 minutes. They get paid for 15 minutes. I don't know how it is in Germany. In Canada, we have healthcare. They have about 15 minutes. So to write a prescription for a Percocet, 15 minutes, no problem. To cannabis, it takes like an hour and a half. There's a secret to it. I'm happy to tell anyone the secret. I don't care. I did it in Canada. I want to do it in Germany and everywhere else. Not because I care to make money on it, but this is the way to build this industry. I'm a big part of this industry. I have a licensed producer in Kelowna, BC. I just launched it a few months ago, and we're GMP certified cannabis that we're going to be importing to Germany. So that's my interest in the industry, but happy to help build this industry so I can be a part of it, just like I am in Canada.
And introduce yourself to Jan and Hapa Medical after that.
Yeah, sure. I'm here. I'm going to be at the party tonight also. Like, I can't stick around too long. I got to shower and get ready for dinner, but happy to talk to anyone. Yeah, it's sweaty. I eat outside, sorry, in the sun. My apologies. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Alex.
So when you vape and when you eat it, you don't get stoned?
No, eating and vaping are completely different.
You don't get stoned?
No, that's not true. That's not true. If you're using CBD and eating, it becomes hydroxin 11. It's not even THC. It metabolizes to your liver and becomes a different product altogether. So eating and inhaling is different than sublingual, which goes under your tongue and absorbs. So they're all different methods of ingestion, and they all do different things. Sorry to take more time, but oil. Everyone's so obsessed with oil. Sorry, I apologize for hijacking this, but it's important to understand. Everyone's so obsessed with oil. I'm warning everyone, because everyone thinks, oh, doctors are going to like it. You're going to put it in a pill. You're going to put it in oil. It's going to be easier. It's a different drug, and it takes up to 2 hours to effect. So if you need immediate relief, it's not happening. And then it lasts 4 to 6 hours. It's like a train ride. Once you're on it, you're not getting off. And especially when I work with a lot of elderly people, I work with military veterans, I work with a lot of people that they don't want to get too high. And if you take too much, I mean, I'm looking around, there's some shaking heads, someone had too many cookies. You have one cookie, this did nothing. You eat a second one, you don't even know your last name. Okay, maybe that's my own personal story, but I mean, I don't know if anyone else can relate. But that's the point, sorry, about oils. Vaping, it's very light, 15 minutes quick onset, 15 minutes max, and then slowly you're fine again. You need more, you do more. That's the benefit of this. Oil is a different drug altogether. I'm not against it, but I'm also against people just kind of being like, oh, you know, I'll wait till I get oil, or we should just do oil. Okay, well, oil is just one type of cannabis, so.
Thank you very much, Alex. I appreciate you being here.
Happy to be here, thanks.
Yeah, and I welcome you to follow up with us on the CTAN.
Yeah.
And then any specific information you have on the education program.
I want to bring this program to German. Translate, not you, because you don't speak German.
But just leave it there.
There's a few people here. I'm speaking tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I like to talk, obviously. I'm speaking tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and I'm going to try out some few German. I threw a new word into my thing.
Alex, I just want to translate the flyer.
No. We need to translate the whole program. We need like a professional.
I would help with that.
No. We need like a medical translation company, like someone who works with like Pfizer or someone serious.
Okay. We'll follow up on that.
Yeah.
And so again, one of the focuses of us is patients and doctors, and I'm very honored to have Wendy here from Los Angeles, who has the honor also of working with Tommy Chong. And also, she's going to speak a little bit about Dr. Ford and some of the medical programs that Tommy is involved in that potentially could have some interaction with what you're doing and others. And so it's my honor to welcome up Wendy from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, my name is Wendy Cowan, and my husband happens to be Tommy Chong's business manager. So I'm really fortunate to know Tommy very well, and I'm happy to bring his message to the whole world. Not a lot of people, when they think of Tommy, they think of a stoner party guy, but really his passion is to use it medically and to spread the word that that's really what it is. Even if you use it recreationally, it's still medicinal. So one of the projects that we're working on right now is Dr. Nathan Ford, who's a medical doctor from Los Angeles. He got his medical degree at UCLA. He is starting some clinical trials to determine which strains of CBD and or THC would affect different maladies, and it's just absolutely fascinating. He's doing it with DNA research, and it's so exciting to me to be a part of it, because for me, I've been smoking for a very long time, and my mom had very severe arthritis, and she was on so many pills, OxyContin, and you name it, she was on it. And I believe that the pills killed her rather than this alternative medicine she could have been taking for pain. And it wasn't available at the time. So for me personally, I'm happy to move this forward.
Thank you so much for being here, Wendy. I appreciate it. Please.
Thanks. My name is Steve. I'll stand up just so you can all see me. Steve Malloy is the full name. I'm from Boston originally, and recently moved to Holland, outside of Amsterdam, and Macedonia. Favorite toy, I think, was this rowboat.
Thank you.
We used to play on the beach when I was a child with my two grandmothers and all the cousins, and I had like 26 cousins, so it just sort of jumps out as the favorite. And I think the funniest thing about it is that years later when I grew up, I was talking about it with someone, and my mother said, "You realize that boat didn't have a bottom?" I said, "What do you mean? It's a rowboat. We used to go out on the rowboat." She said, "No. It was an old rowboat that was on the sand, and we used to just sit in the boat with the grandmothers and sing the songs, And it's funny that such a boat produced those memories. And at the moment, what I'm doing is cultivating cannabis, THC cannabis, in Macedonia. And I'd say that the way that I cultivate organically, what I try to do is think about would I give this product to my grandmother? Because a lot of people, they grow or make products, etc., and they think, how do I pass the test? And we're taking a different approach and saying, okay, would I give it to my child or my grandmother or my grandparent or any sort of relative or friend? And I think it's a good way to look at it, and we're trying to look at not where we are now, but where we're headed in the future. And I produce THC products for export, GMP products, of course, and that's it for me.
Excellent.
So nice to meet you. Martini?
Subcommittee member.
Yes, thank you for inviting. I'm Martini from the German Cannabis Association, and my thing is I'm doing lobbying with politicians. I'm trying to help patients in my little safe-run office. It's one of the things, the information, but also the information giving to doctors. And I hope we can build something up to do it a bit more professional than it's been till now. I hope I'll be part of it and can bring my knowledge, my activism into this this table.
Last year, didn't you knock on the doors of the Bundesrat and meet with different parliament members?
Sure, I met already with some members of the Bundestag. Some I'm really friendly with, not with all parties, but at my home, I'm from Bavaria, known as conservative state. I'm involved with conservative politicians. They know me, we talk, I bring up the issues, they invite me. We even made one podium speech with them. That's my idea of helping, educating this kind of people, because they're not, even if they're conservative, they're not against cannabis quite often. They just don't know about it. If you say them, oh, we talk about marijuana, then they have all their old images, and cannabis, they not really know. And if you talk personally, bring examples. I'm not a patient, so I cannot say I'm sick and it's curing me, but I can say I'm grown up and I'm consuming and I want the right of consume and I want to know what it's inside. So it helps also the not sick people if we get more to a regulated market. Pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, my title is now the Communication Manager for Bavarian Politics. Little title, but it's a title.
A very good point you brought up about the marijuana. It has a negative connotation, even in America, and I call it a swear word. And in all of our documents, we only go with curative cannabis. We call it cannabis medicine or curative cannabis. We go nowhere near medical marijuana because that is a negative connotation, that word.
Yeah, I would like to step in just short. That's exactly what I say. Cannabis, it's like a white leaf. We can write a new history on it. Marijuana, it's racistic, it's a slang word. I had the situation on the way up here, police stopped me and the police asked me if I have marijuana with me, if I had to do something with marijuana, and I said no. In my head I said, I don't know marijuana. I know cannabis, I'm lobbying for cannabis. So just this mental thing helped me also to stand my ground and get through this Bavarian search very, very good. But cannabis, it's clean, it's not the old history, we can write it new, and I hope we do it in a way that the normal people also cannabis user are. That's what I want to step in.
In South Africa, we have a term that they use from the apartheid oppression of this product, and they call it dacha. And we have the same policy, we don't want to hear that word. It is a negative connotation word, and it is something that was constructed to make people feel inferior, outlaw, and with a racist connotation.
As was marijuana.
As was marijuana.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The whole word, it has nothing to do with cannabis.
Absolutely.
It's the tobacco variety. Mexican immigrants used to smoke when they came to the U.S. and they try to blame it on the Mexicans, like always.
Absolutely.
So it's just a racist. It's a racist.
Absolutely.
Word.
So
I mean,
out
we all
with
use it. We
marijuana,
all
out
have
with
it.
dacha, in with cannabis.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Martini. Jan from Napa Medical, who is going to talk with Alice.
Thank you, Phil, and thank you for making all of this, because it's exactly what this education, connection, be strong together to get the right medicine for the humanity, I would say. And I'm from Napa Medical. We make distribution. We want to bring patients in Germany and Europe the best cannabinoid medicine it's possible, and we work in different fields with CBD, in the future with THC, and we just opened up the first cannabinoid-focused clinic in Berlin 1 month ago, and we roll out different clinics in Germany. What we do is we help doctors, we try to help them to make this decision to focus on this important medicine, and we try to help them to educate themselves. And education is the key for both patients and the doctors, and I think we are in a good way because we're sitting all here together, talk about this, and I think we will have a good future all together. Thanks.
Hi, my name's Free Cannabis. It's a statement, but I believe and live for that cannabis be free. And my philosophy very much is to just do it. So after the police refused to arrest me for holding a Turn Yourself In Day, where Howard Marks and myself have been giving out free cannabis to medical patients in Hyde Park, London, we went to the police station and refused to arrest me. So May 97 launched a cannabis, I called it the Free Medical Marijuana Foundation, apologies for that. Anyway, yeah, and the police watched, observed, and I continued to distribute to several hundred patients cannabis, either face-to-face through an office or through the post. And so the police were fully aware of what I was doing, but they left me alone because they were aware that I was providing a service to people, and they knew that I was eloquent in court. Yes, I went to court many times, went to prison 3 times. Jumping forward to 2014, that's when I started supplying the CBD oils legally, 0.2%. However, I'm aware that a higher percentage of CBD can be more profound in pain relief. Though I watched my mother die from pharmaceutical drugs in the treatment of cancer, the whole cancer thing, that's a much bigger issue, but pain relief, I saw it. And on the I've got this flyer, been given a few of these out. Last September, I very, very publicly advertised the fact that I would be holding a pop-up cannabis dispensary, which I did in the middle of a marketplace in Glastonbury, Southwest England. Over 100 people came as I gave out an oil blend, an alchemical blend of 6 different cannabis oils from various countries around the world. I'd like to put this in because not everyone, I admit, wants to get high from cannabis. I loved getting high. Apigenin claimed anti-tumor properties, but what it does, it also slows down the metabolism of delta-9 THC into 11-hydroxy-THC. So I was giving out an oil with 25% THC to people who'd never tried cannabis in their life. They were getting profound pain relief, but they weren't getting, well, they felt uplifted, but they weren't getting tripped out and they could remember who they were and what their name was. So yeah, going to do that again in May 97 coming up. And yeah, just get on with it and do it. And yeah, the only interaction I've had with the police is my neighbour, who's a senior policeman. He retired a few weeks ago. The whole of my garden is full of cannabis plants, and he was trimming some trees and accidentally broke one of the branches on my biggest cannabis plant, and he apologised. No, it's all right, I'll juice it later. So yeah, my dad laughed too. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Hey everybody, I'm Jim Walsh. I'm from California. I represent a handful of cannabis companies like Bloom Farms, Cannacraft, HelloMD, and Puffco. I do PR for them and some biz dev. I'm looking to bring them to Germany and throughout Europe through a network of friends that I have here that I've been doing some work with. And most importantly, germane to this conversation would be HelloMD. I think a really fantastic group of people in Northern California that are really trying to help patients get access to better information about the kinds of cannabis products that can benefit whatever ailments or conditions that they have, whether by connecting them with doctors over telehealth through their video conference platform, or simply just anecdotal evidence from other patients that have found relief in from specific products or types of whether it be edibles or vapes or what have you. So anyway, happy to be here. Thank you, Phil. Did you have a question?
Yeah, what is HelloMD?
Oh, thank you. HelloMD is, as far as we understand it, the largest community online of cannabis users. There's about, basically what they do is they provide medical access to doctors to get medical cards, and they also have basically like a Quora, if you're familiar with Quora, sort of an online suppository. It's not suppository. Repository, excuse me. Yeah, it's the whole internet right there. It's an online repository of information for. You were talking about suppositories yesterday, weren't you? That you guys are making them? Yeah, that's what made me think of it. See how I could just put that plug in there for you? Sorry. Yes. So check it out, hellomd.com. They're looking to come to Germany as hellodoctor.com, and they're.
We would welcome them to be
Yeah.
even from afar and in some way. So thank you very much, Jim.
Yep.
Do you want to come say nothing? You sure? Come on up. Luke. Ladies and gentlemen from Holland.
All the way from Holland.
Somewhere
Luke, west of Germany.
He's just going to talk very briefly. Luke from Paradise Seeds.
Luke.
Hi, brother. Hello, Jens and Wendy. You're there, and you, two ladies. Yeah, my name is Luc Krol. I'm having a seed company already for the last 20 years in the Netherlands, doing genetics. And well, I have met a lot of patients in my life. And they were always saying, "Hey, look, that this cannabis that really is very helps me very much. Is beneficial." And we get a lot of we sell seeds, and we have only get good things, do have a good salary and so on. So I wanted to do something back for cannabis and for the people that buy seeds of us, and for the patients. So I introduced a bike tour, and we've been cycling with hundreds of people around Europe for the past 6 years to raise funds for a clinical study on glioblastoma, that's brain tumors, and that will be done by official, how do you say, a health institution on neurotic. What's it? Cancers. This is the organization in Spain that leads that and is connected with 5 or 6 hospitals. So this is going to take place this year after 6 years of fundraising, and this is research. We choose to do cycling to also get the negative stigma cannabis or marijuana has, while we all know that, and I know for the longest, 20 years at least, that it is a medicine. So I have introduced that, and that was what I was going to say. Check it out, the Medical Cannabis Bike Tour, please. That is very interesting. Thank you.
You'll make contact with Theo and Gunther. Sorry? You introduce yourself to Theo and Gunther. Gunther, I know. Theo, yeah. You just become friends. Excellent. And so now I'm very glad to have the head of Europe, for one of the top companies in the world, Read Maps, Jose, my friend. Welcome to our German Patient Roundtable. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I guess everybody knows, pretty much everybody here knows who we are. We are veterans for 10 years. We've been on top of the game for the past 10 years. We do connect doctors with patients, with dispensaries, over 5 countries so far now. And yeah. That's Germany. We have pharmacies, as you might know. We have doctors that prescribe, pharmacies that have cannabis available, which is a very hard thing, as Alex was saying from Nuvera. So, yeah, that's what we do. I think we help patients. That's really what we do.
It's just starting pretty much in Berlin, and I noticed a couple of months ago, if you went, in Weed Maps, there was not too many doctors and stuff. Do you have any suggestions for your company on how to educate doctors to be involved more? And more importantly, do you have any suggestions for us as an organization or a group on how we can formulate significant, intelligent education for doctors? Any suggestions in that regard? That is our biggest need. We need education.
University, you need to catch them early. You need to catch doctors. You need to catch doctors still at university. That's where they really You know, from then on, it's a thing to them. They won't be reacting like we heard many times today, where you just get a refusal because they need medical evidence. Because that's all they learn. That's what they get in their head, and that's what they, you know.
Students of biology are not taught at school that there's the endocannabinoid system.
Yeah, exactly.
For example, the doctors don't even know this.
Yeah,
This has
exactly.
to be educated.
Exactly. My neighbor is a pain doctor, and he didn't believe me that cannabis or endocannabinoid system would be effective. He's a director of a pain clinic in Barcelona until Dr. Pierre Debs went to my house for barbecue and met him, and now he's a firm believer. So it's, you know, it's, yeah. He's a good friend of mine.
Thank you very much. We welcome.
Feel free to step up to me to anything. I would like to talk to a few guys already here, so okay. Thank you.
We welcome. This is a pitch on behalf of the organization. Companies like yours and others that see the value to what we're trying to do. We're all talking about it today. We talked about it last month, but we are going to start implementing. Hell, we have our first subcommittee. We're going to start implementing things so the talk becomes action. That's the only way this doesn't become a bullshit thing. And I'm not into the bullshit thing. That's not why we all have that.
Sorry, one last thing. Our Wheat Maps Berlin office is 5 minutes away from here in case we miss each other.
Okay. And you're here a couple times a month or something?
On and off.
Okay.
I'm Europe, so I've never really much time in any place.
Do you have a card with your address on where it is?
No, she had one. So we have the Spanish office's address. That's where I'm based.
I'll get it later. Give it to you.
Nora had to leave, I think, but his colleague, and she had such a good office for that. You had a question, please?
Yeah, not a question. I don't want to interrupt the introduction round, but there would be one topic where we could take immediate action. I guess, at least. I mean, you have to decide if that falls under like the responsibility of this roundtable. But there is this Deutsche Schmerzgesellschaft, and they kind of issue guidelines for doctors, and doctors actually follow those guidelines. It is like known if doctors follow those guidelines, they won't have any trouble in their like daily business operational life. They won't be taken into regress and stuff like that. So it provides a certain security for doctors. So they offered now a public statement, and I think it's up to end of the month to professionally comment on that. But they literally state that they never recommend to use buds, like cannabis buds, for treatment for various reasons which are bogus, as we know, but they just refuse to see any evidence. So what they're basically saying is too high of a risk to ever prescribe buds. So I don't know if their aim is actually to exclude cannabis. That's what they want, actually, to exclude cannabis like out, but they won't be capable of doing that. But what they can still do is like corrupt the whole process when issuing those statements. So if we can don't put me now into any committee right now, but we have to organize this at some point. Then it would be, no offense, but it might be really good if we gather some professional medical knowledge here, or practitioners here, exactly, who can professionally comment on those bogus statements. I think you know that, or you've heard of that association, Deutsche Schmerzgesellschaft. So they have high authority in the German medical like landscape, if you wish. Yeah, and they issued that statement, and it's up to any advocate or like activist or whoever feels responsible for that. Yes.
Sorry, just a point on that. Do you have any available research that compares the efficacy in the medicinal space of the oil versus the smoke from a bud?
Not at hand.
but I can go back to my colleagues and ask if we have something there, or I can research myself, but not right top of my head. I don't know any of that stuff. So.
Because I think, look, I've seen some of it, and I've looked into that quite extensively, and I think you'll be quite surprised that, although it might be coming from doctors, it's not necessarily a negative thing. That combustion and smoke does have a lot of negative effects and qualities to it.
Yeah, that might be the case too.
Vaporizing takes a lot of that away depending on how the vaping is done. And oral ingestion actually is the best medicine because it touches all the receptors, all the CBE1, CB2 receptors all get affected by oral ingestion.
Well, I mean, it depends on the thing.
Which very often is lost in the smoke instead of the vape. I'm just putting this out there. I'm not an expert and I'm not a doctor, but I have read a lot of information in this regard, and smoking vape might not be the best way to treat the vape.
But you can also prevent from fun. So
yes.
You don't necessarily have to smoke it.
Yes.
Free?
A lot of problem in pain is inflammation in the body. Where a lot of that inflammation is coming from is colon. So rectally, suppositories, maybe not the most popular route, but it is getting to the root of the problem.
We're back to
literally
back to this
Exactly. We're stuck in our base chakra. Energetically, and that's where it needs to be healed most, I feel.
If you talk to me after, I'll explain why that is.
Yeah, I'd love to chat with you.
I'll explain why that is.
Excellent, very good point. I know Tommy Chong has some
I'd like to hear that as well.
background in that.
I've got poetry about it as well.
So I'm very glad to introduce you, please. Thank you for waiting.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm the CEO of my own company. It's called MJ Labs. We develop new things in cannabis. Okay, but the two things that I do many things with with weed in terms of information and providing information, but the two things that are most important for these roundtables are the Independent Medical Congress. It's a medical congress independent of industrial sponsors. That we are doing on the 13th of October here at the Charité for 500 doctors and scientists, where we want to create a room for them to exchange ideas and to get a better and broader understanding of what at this point is symptomatic treatment with cannabis means.
I'm sorry, just where is that at?
At the Charité. It's a hospital. In Berlin.
On October.
At the Charité University Hospital. Yes.
On October 13th.
On October 13th. Yes. Yeah, it's the name of the company of the hospital.
So I'm sorry, please continue.
And it's for doctors. The doctors get accredited for it, so they get CME points. It's for the doctors have to get it. Yeah. It's all evidence-based. We are a charitable organization that are the host of the event. It's not for profit. It's basically to educate the doctors. And what I do on the other side is I have one website that is educating patients that I'm just setting up to be operated by mid of May online, and it's specifically designed from the user experience to help patients navigate through the process of applying for medical cannabis and to get it covered by the health insurance, because there are many rooms for errors, there are many things that they can do proactively in order to get the process through. Yeah. So, yeah, this is what I do.
Very good. So excellent. Thank you very much. And you're going to be involved in that subcommittee on the policy side as well. If you're agreeable to that?
Yes.
Okay. So without a joke, because that's one of the action items, like, oh, we did something. But you, Martini, you, and Theo, right? And so, like, no joke, I'm going to send you four an email, and then I'll work with you, and we'll do something in advance of that doctor's thing, October 13th, and in conjunction with whatever political stuff we got going on that you recommend. And again, I thank everyone for the time. Anas and Thomas from South Africa are friends of mine, a master grower. This man truly knows what he's talking about throughout Africa, Doja. And she found your luggage today, so that's really incredible. But Anaz and his family have Anaz and his family have a very strong record in South Africa and the surrounding regions, and we're honored to have them here in Germany for the first time. Or no, it's the first time since last year. Cool. Anaz?
So I'm Anaz. We're based in Johannesburg, South Africa, but we've got a network that extends several countries in Africa. And I think essentially, we're trying to do a lot, but basically what it is to enable, access for, patients in Africa to cheaper alternative, medication to, that which we have to import from everywhere else. I think that's essentially what it sort of boils down to. There's a lot of else, sort of other stuff, which I'm more than happy to discuss with anybody if they find me, but I think essentially that's what it boils down to.
You say you have to import it, but do you have a law that allows for importation in South Africa?
No. What I'm saying is that, in general, the African sort of medical landscape is that all medicines that we get are imported from the best we have is generic products which come from India, which are often synthesized toxic drugs, and so I think it's something that everybody is very much sort of familiar with. The added dimension, of course, being in Africa is that we come from one of the most impoverished parts of the world where access to medical care is extremely expensive, and it's literally only there for the top 1%. And where people have indigenous knowledge and historical background in understanding medicinal sort of benefits of cannabis, which was interrupted by colonialism and oppression, and to get that sort of knowledge base back on track, to sort of understand what historical knowledge Africa has to offer and has to offer to the world. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. Thomas?
Hi, it's been a pleasure to be here, and I'm very excited to hear about all the initiatives going forward here. It's very encouraging, and I would hope that one day we will be able to duplicate something like this down in Southern Africa. It would help the people there tremendously. We have a very limited professional base of opinions on this particular subject, and it's mostly emotive and reactionary, and probably comes from somebody like me because I'm an activist. So we have been driving this process down south for many years, and I never thought I'd live to see the day. I never thought I'd live to see the day that I lived under a black president in Africa, and thank goodness I have lived for almost 30 years in that state now, and I never thought I'd live to see the day where cannabis was considered legal. And the prosecution of people has tapered off tremendously because it was a racist move. It was all racist in Africa because they didn't want the mixing of the white and black people, and cannabis brought that about. So it's been a very interesting journey for us, and I'm very pleased to see that we're coming to the end of it. I'm very excited to see that there is opportunity for us to engage with the European community and to bring some real benefit back to Africa, because I think we have real benefit to offer you guys. We can produce the best weed at the best prices.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, the gentleman who was the first person here today at 4 minutes to 5 and helped us set up the table. We started with 3 and said, no, man, hopefully 6, and we have 12. So a sincere thank you for everyone, including Daniel, our friend, and he will be hosting the next German Patient Roundtable, which will be Thursday, June 14th, 2018. Why is that important? June 14th, 1977, I started my career in the industry, quote unquote. So, and my friend Daniel from Berlin.
Thanks, Phil. Yeah, it's pretty stunning and motivating to listen to all of this, what's happening here. Like, I'm Daniel Priller, some call me Phipps because of Facebook. And yeah, I have a funny story of being here. Like, yeah, cannabis was always a passion. Like, like for everybody maybe, like for a lot of us, like having their own experience with it and getting to a topic and then realizing more and more, hey, it's more than just like getting high or something. Then I got introduced to CBD, which majorly helped me for my concentration, especially during studies. Writing my master thesis, actually like completely smoking CBD, or like when I get like this moment where you say like, ah, shit, you get it down in motivation and stuff. I smoke a CBD. I don't have a recipe or something. Like we do it ourselves here. It's pretty easy, like for our own consumption. Yeah, and then I suddenly, like, here, because there's like this tender, and friends approached me and we applied as a Phytopharmacon GmbH for also like a tender. But this I left behind because the political situation was really like frustrating for me. That's why have like more this community approach. That's what also popped up in the first roundtable really nicely. For me, as a huge nice thing is of I'm a representative of an association I founded with friends and colleagues of mine. We do cultural events, festivals, are organizers, and have an association that's called Kollektiv Spieltrieb. And somehow talking about this in the last roundtable, there was always this thing, education, yeah. And for me, like I have a personal experience with the CBD as a non-patient. I also am very interested in, like, or try since last year, also since I was here, to get actively involved, like get a I don't know, a recipe or what you said. Like for me, it's prescription. Yes, thank you. As I'm also from Bavaria, and for me this was always like doomed. That's why I call myself an exile Bavarian. I moved away, and lately, unfortunately, like a partner and boyfriend of my mother had like cancer, and I saw a person going down in a very fast way of really bad poisoned chemical products, actually real drugs, I would say. So, and when I realize how it helps me, and when I hear all the stories, I think, especially with having the roots in Bavaria, I can completely empathize. And I have to laugh so much when I hear you coming here. And was it at Feucht, Nürnberg, maybe? Or Hof? Hof, Bamberg, yeah, that's the pattern, you know, we have an...
I'm still here, I still have since my car is parking somewhere.
Yeah, and we know how to address them also by experience also. Yeah, you have to trick your brain, and really that's the thing, like that's a really thing. But I realize also this awareness gets more and more created, and what we do is, to make it also a point, is like really that I see how it changes in the head of my mother. She uses CBD oil now, and we tried to rescue kind of in last second the boyfriend of her, but it was just too late. The chemotherapy and everything destroyed everything. The doctors were, from my experience, also more open suddenly, like because I really pressured, like that my mom talks to the doctor of her boyfriend and partner. And then he applied it then, and to wrap it up shortly, I think there's a change in the community going on, and we as, like I speak for also my friends and colleagues of the association, that I'm very happy and thankful, Phil, that you integrate me, like also and inviting, can provide like a structure that is more in a subcultural approach. Because I think what we anyways will do as an association is promote the idea of medical cannabis through subcultural festivals, events. That's also where our name comes from. Spieltrieb is like how you learn in nature. Education is learning. So we all have like this bad experience in our head. Like there's this thing, there's a German neurologist from Mannheim who has like a nice speech, I always forget the names, where he said like, you're always creative, everything is nice, you want to learn, and then you come to school. Yeah, and so education for us is always like you have to, deadlines, whatever, but education is fun, and the normal thing about education is in nature, every animal, like how is Säugetier called, I don't know, like they learn by playing, and this is like having fun. So I think a public education can be done, and it's also our experience because we are lobbying for a public space approach in Berlin. It's like that's another project we're in. I'm sorry. Yeah. we have a network in Germany through 2 clubs. We also have a location where we're really happy to host you next time. So you can see it also live what we do. I also have my new cards here so we can exchange. To think about the approach of like education to the public in a kind of this sector, event-based. There's a lot to play, and a lot to learn in education. And, I'm sorry for speaking so long. I always lose time.
No problem at all. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everyone. But first, everyone stand up. No. To Noel in the back and the sound check who have been nicely waiting. We're like half hour over. Thank you for letting us be here. Holla! Everyone, thanks for coming. Feel good when you go to sleep tonight that you spent an hour and a half after a busy day doing this. I will follow up, and as everyone's packing up, the action items that we have. Phipps and Daniel is going to host our next meeting June 14th. The policy making subcommittee hosted by Kolcha is underway. Doctor writing campaign with Dr. Ranchit, Dr. Ford, Dr. Johan, potentially someone from Jan's company, HAPA. Number 4, HAPA medical tour. Hey, Jan, next, in June, we're having a tour of your clinic here in Berlin as part of the German Patient Roundtable. June 14th. I'll send you information. Education stuff, and then the lawyer referral hotline from Kai. Thank you very much.